opportunity to see how to use the language and everywhere on the everyday basis. So I will now share my screen for you to see the presentation. My presentation is not going to be theoretical. I will tell you about the cases, interesting cases that I had, and I hope that you can share yours in the chat box, and we can discuss some probable issues that may arise in this respect. I will also touch upon the today's situation and the use of technology or online teaching, and what challenges we face and how we try to cope with them. So my presentation, I hope my colleagues who organized the event will help me understand if you can see the presentation well. Is it okay? So
yes, Doctor, we can see it.
Okay, thank you very much. I have reworded this title because I was criticized by my fellow translator from Canada about it being too wordy and not very comprehensible, so I tried to make it better. So now it's practical use of English as the main source of motivation. I work at National University of Kyiv Mohyla Academy in the capital of Ukraine, called Kyiv, a beautiful city, and I would like to invite you all to visit our beautiful town. This is our university. It is very old. It is 400 years old, with a very complicated history, and at the same time, it's very progressive, democratic, and it attracts the free-thinking young people to study there, which makes it possible for us lecturers, professors to implement a lot of interesting projects, and we find understanding among our students, and they are happy to have anything creative and anything which is out of the academic box, so to say. As I've already mentioned, I stick to the principle of applied approach in teaching English. And not only English, but also translation and interpreting. Students learn how to use English on an everyday basis. So basically, I've got students, groups of students during 1 year. Then I don't see them anymore. So it is a challenge for me because previously I used to work with students for many years, for 3-4 years, and I could see their progress and so on, and they were students of translation mostly, but now they are students of different majors, and they come to study English with me for 1 year. And my target, and I tell it immediately when I meet new groups, that they, in the end of the academic year, use English on everyday basis much more than they are doing now, and they can see the opportunities, and they raise their level considerably because they consume a lot of information in English, and they have to look up words, and they have to cope with different and complicated grammatical structures, and in the end they can see their progress, and many of them have told me so, that it's really helpful. So where do they use this English? In their studies, of course, for entertainment and for making their dreams come true. And I would also add to communicate with people of different cultures. So First, I would like to tell you how I'm trying to raise the interest to the themes we are studying. We've got a very good syllabus for each major, and they have the structure of the course is that in their second year, students have some common subjects, everyday subjects, common for all majors, but also 1 month each term is for specialized subject. So I'm trying to make it all very practical and for them to, hello? And for them to see how to use English for in each area we are talking about. So I would like to give an example of the first term of the second year students. And this is 1 month is for education. The second month is for employment. And the third month is for their specialized subjects. So if they are IT students, they are talking about IT areas. And if they are economics students, they are talking about the basics of economics in English, and they learn terminology and read specialized texts and so on. And if they're humanities, it is a great challenge because, we have this division of students in the beginning of the first year according to the level of preparation and their level of English. So humanities, they are all together, like philologists, history students, and philosophers, and also culture studies. They come together in one group, and it's very interesting to look at one and the same problem from different angles, and they are very excited about that, starting with mythology and ending with the kind of types of literature and its role in everybody's life. So the first subject matter, big one, we are studying is education. So I always try to make the work both individual and teamwork. So we are discussing something in a group as a whole, but I'm trying to work individually with students to see them, to see their typical mistakes and give some advice concerning further development and raising their level. So education. While working about individually, they prepare information about a university to their liking. So that seems most interesting for them. And they tell about it using the vocabulary from the unit. So we've got this common vocabulary they need to know, and telling about the university, they are trying to use the activity. So I also asked them to not only look at the official information about the university, but also read comments of students about their studies, about their professors, and about their students' life. And of course, they read a lot, and they broaden their vocabulary with not only by official information, but also some slang, some young people's words and word combinations. They become their active vocabulary that they can use in their everyday life. What I should say, students go further, and this time one girl, not even once, some of them didn't find comments, but they found on the social networks some universities from some students from the university they were telling about, and they got acquainted, they started chatting, and they got a lot of information about this university, and they also, I really hope that they will continue communicating and make friends, international friends. This is what I'm telling now is all about this year, and we, our university decided not to go offline. We don't teach at lecture halls and at university premises. All is online. I use Zoom. MS Teams is also used by our university, and I must say that our information technology department and education quality department, they are doing great job. Like they are giving webinars all the time on how to use specialized platform for distant learning, how to use such platforms as Zoom and MS Teams, and but I chose Zoom, and I will tell you why. Because it's probably the only platform that I know that gives an opportunity to divide the group of students, which is usually about 17, 18 people, into smaller groups. It's called breakout rooms. So they can work in small teams. And what is even better is that a professor can join each group one after another and take part in the discussion and correct some mistakes and help them stream their conversation into into a better direction. So education, the theme of education had this teamwork, which consisted of two phases. At the first phase, it was during the class. I divided the group into breakout rooms, and each room consisted of 3, 4, sometimes 5 students. I asked them to discuss a concept of a private school or university they would establish. So as soon as it is private, they could use their imagination and do whatever they like, and also an action plan of doing it. So this task was very unusual to them because concept is okay. So they had ideas, they discussed them, and they came up with one idea for a group. But the action plan was pretty difficult because it is about how to do, what steps to take to launch a business. Actually, my business experience helps me a lot during these classes, especially when I teach students of economics. They are interested in how it is organized, how to promote business, how to do finance and everything. So I joined one group after another and helped them understand what action plan is and to think about that. So it was during the class. When we came back together to the common room and listened to the concept and the short action plan they created during this short time period, and they went home with the home assignment. Again, the assignment was, and it is phase 2, and the assignment was to continue working on this project of a school or a university they created, yes, and find on the internet examples of a business plan and make a short presentation with their business plans as if they were presenting their future school to a potential investor or to a bank, which is the same. So it was very good for, like very successful among students of economics, because in one and the same group they had different students from different majors, market researchers, managers, financiers, economists in general, who could see the overall picture. It was much more difficult for other students like IT and I haven't heard humanities yet, but actually it is very complicated, another type of thinking, but I'm sure that it is very useful for any person studying any subject, because in the future we don't know if they will work in a company or in some organizations or at universities, or probably they will start their own business. So for doing these assignments, students had to read a lot in English, and not only about the education, but also about business, about economics, about other things. So their background is broadened, and their vocabulary is growing, and they are dealing with the authentic English texts, which is very important. Okay, now I will give you, I will show you a small part of students' presentations. I was impressed by their creative approach. I will tell you why. So this is their business plan. They prepared by some students. Sorry. So they presented what they are going to talk about. So general overview, description of the service and proposed target market, and competition and differentiation, and their management team, and the financial outlook. They decided to use Hermann Hesse's Castalia from the glass beads game, and I was very impressed because it's one of my favorite books of all times, and I was surprised that students of economics know about it and are also impressed about it. You can see that they like modern design. They want their school to look like this. And they used one of the motivation slogans of Harvard, which is "Suffering from studying is temporary, suffering from nescience is infinite." Okay. I must say that it was a very interesting observation that most of the groups, of small groups, decided to create a high school for children for teenagers, the last grades at school. And we can see that they wanted to be creative. They want this school have a lot of students organizations and promote healthy lifestyle. It's very interesting to know their priorities and their what they really appreciate. Okay. The thing is that when they are asked about lectures, you can see that they are for mixed education. They want lectures to be online and seminars to be offline. They find it very convenient to have lectures online or even recorded, which is better. They want to listen to lectures in the comfortable time, convenient time, and have an opportunity to listen to it again and again if they don't understand something. So while communicating with students like that, it's interesting to know their opinion, and especially in this situation where we are now with mixed education or online education, it's of high importance to my mind to know their opinion. Okay, this is it, and now I would like to go on to talk about the second theme, which is employment. And again, I would like to give an example of a practical assignment. Which is to find a job that you can apply for at Ukrainian headhunting websites. So first, my idea was to ask them look for any kind of job in English-speaking countries for them to study these websites. But actually, the experience of the previous years shows that it's very good for them to see where they are now and what jobs they can apply for immediately, like for the next summer, or while at the same time when they are studying, because some students have to pay for their work, for their studies themselves. So they are looking for jobs anyway. And I asked them to find a job they are interested in and prepare a cover letter in writing, of course, and a CV in writing. It's, to my mind, very useful for them, because CVs at this age of 19, 20 years old, it is very like short, very small. They don't have anything to write about their experience and so on. And this assignment makes them think what they actually did, what projects they did at school, what interesting things they did at university, what volunteering work they have been involved in. And it turns out that sometimes, you know, in the in the part of where experience is, they have something to write, or they understand that don't have anything and they have to do something in their during their studies, and to make their CV look more substantial and more interesting to the to potential employers. So my idea about this task was for them to look at job searching as if they were already searching for a job. Like they understand then that very soon, within 2 years, they will have to do it anyway. So they have to be prepared by that time. And if they don't start now, if they don't do some projects to include in the CV, if they don't do any volunteering job, if they don't join any student societies to be active and so on, they will be in a complicated situation in after their studies. I don't know if it is good or bad, you know, but the life is as it is, and employers look at what a person was doing or is able to do or is potentially willing to do, and this is it. And so this part is individual, of course, but the speaking part during the class is a teamwork. Job interview, I tried it twice, last year and 2 years ago, and the first experience was very serious. They were using their CVs and cover letters, and there were 3 people who were in the job interview committee. and they really took it very serious and asked questions, and the applicant replied, and yes, so it was a good experience. It was a good activity because everyone was speaking, and all were involved. The whole group was involved, and it was, of course, offline because it was 2 years ago. 1 year ago, last September, I suggested them to make it not so serious and to find most unusual jobs they can. There are some interesting articles about these jobs, like a person who tastes honey, and it is actually a job, paid job, or something like that. So they found these strange jobs, and the job interviews were very funny, and also this evoked a lot of enthusiasm. They liked it. They spoke more, and but it wasn't that serious, and probably from the practical point of view, it wasn't so good. But from the point of view of the language development and speaking skills development, it was great. They also made me take this interview as well. And I was very thoroughly interviewed by 3 very strict interviewers. Yes, it was fun. Okay. Then comes the specialized language studies. It is the 3rd year, the 3rd month of the term. Of each term. We've got 3 terms at university, so 2 terms they are studying English, and the 3rd month is for a specialized language. It is very, very complicated because I already mentioned that groups are mixed, and in one and the same group, for example, of the students of economics, we've got those who study marketing and management, economics, finance. Of course, their areas of their fields of interest are a bit different. Of course, there are common things that they should know, but anyway, if we are talking about my approach of using their interests for raising their motivation, it is complicated. So again, the work is individual and the teamwork. So individual is as follows. They should read several articles in English on the subject matter of their specialization, and choose one of them that they would like to share with the group mates. I had this experience only offline. I don't think that it will be that good for during the online study, so it will not be so efficient, because actually while they were telling about what they read in the article and sharing the vocabulary list with the group, they were actually practicing public speaking. And their task was not only to render the information, communicate the information. Their task was to involve the audience, to make them ask questions, to make them interested. So I gave them some tips on that, and we practiced, and I think that for offline studies, this type of activity is very good. As for the teamwork, it was okay as follows. A team of 3-4 students prepare a presentation on an up-to-date theme in their field. So the best way, the most successful it is for IT students, because for me it is a way out, I know some economics, I know a lot about humanities, but IT is pretty far away from my understanding, except some of the software which I use on everyday basis and for translations as well and so on. But this coding and new technologies, it is complicated. And I found it very useful that students themselves suggest their topics and they prepare presentations. In case of IT students, there were presentations a lot about artificial intelligence, for example, in automobiles, and also it's very good that they're interested not only in technology but also about the issues of morale, about the security, and how this is this contradiction when a robot calculates the number of victims in a car accident, and then it doesn't behave like a human being who is able to sacrifice himself or herself to save other people's lives. And so not only the technological aspects are discussed, but also other things are involved, and they're interested in that. I must also say that not only these types of activities, of course, I use, they are just additional to like traditional teaching of vocabulary, grammar, those exercises and so on. But I also devote a lot of time to discussion of some problematic issues. Something which is not easy to some questions which are not easy to answer. And in any subject matter, there is always something like that. And a part of a class, like 15 minutes, I try to involve as many people as possible. Unfortunately, now with our online studies, there are some complications. First of all, that students are not in one and the same room. They don't feel one another, and they often don't switch on videos. And it is like being discussed now at our university as well. If we should ask them to switch on the videos or not, and so on. So it is difficult to communicate with black squares, of course. We all know about that. So this part is more complicated than in class. But I must say that for presentations, online studies are even better, because we can see the presentation very well. We can see a speaker, and we can communicate with the speaker closer, and I find it okay. Well, now I would like to switch to another type of classes, another type of practical skills that I was trying to develop in my students and raise their motivation by in some other way, and it is about translation. I must say that translation and interpreting, they are very practical, they are applied areas, and it is very, very good when students can see the result of their work, some tangible, some material result, and it's very inspiring. Like this, we were translating a book written by a historian and ethnologist Evgenia Konechny about the history of Ukraine and the name of Ukraine and how it developed. It's pretty complicated, but students were working in as a team with professors who revised their translations and gave them tips how to improve this work. And you can see that this is my student of that time, and we went together to the translation forum organized by European Commission in Brussels. And we shared this book there, distributed there, didn't sell, of course, but gave it as a present to people from different countries. And then we told about that at university. So it was a great project. Another interesting thing that we did together with students, there is a very inspiring and motivating and even surprising and astonishing documentary called Searching for Sugar Man. I recommend everybody to watch it. And we worked on this documentary with all types of translation which are possible except dubbing. So we did the subtitling in English, or in Ukrainian, I'm sorry. And this is the process of how we were discussing these subtitles, because all the documentary, which is pretty big, was divided among students. And when they came up with their results, with their subtitles, we watched the video, compared, and made some changes and discussed it together with students and my colleague. And then we went to the television studio, which agreed to help us, and we did the voicing over of this documentary. So another tangible result that they could listen to, they can share with their friends and so on. We it's official because it requires copyright, but actually the process and the result were great. Students are also good to be involved in real job if they are learning how to interpret, consecutive interpreting and also simultaneous interpreting. So you can see one of the students doing whispering and consecutive interpreting for a representative of the British Embassy. This student was very talented, and his level of translation was extremely high. Okay, and also students were who were studying simultaneous interpreting. They were asked to do this conference interpreting during one of the events at the university. And this university is different. I used to work there, and these projects from my previous life, so to say. And I must say that it is another very inspiring thing when they can see how they work immediately. Though they are not satisfied with the quality of their work, they can see what to improve, how to make it better, but they are also happy to have this opportunity. And it's very good. I also already mentioned the conference. I invited a student to this conference twice. Two students went with me to translation forum, translating for Europe forum. And I think that there they make a lot of friends among other students who come to the forum, and they continue communicating later on, and they see the latest updates from the profession. So I think that the participation in professional conferences is of great importance. I think that students of other majors should also participate in different events. I really hope that we will have this opportunity again as soon as possible. But actually, the international events, they give such a great inspiration and motivation that they shouldn't be ignored. Okay, so this is all I've got now. And if you have any questions, and if you would like me to tell more about one of the parts of my presentation, I will be happy to share. I can see your messages.
Okay, guys, if you have questions, you can, and you want to speak, you can unmute your mic, and you can speak with the guest speaker, or you can write your question in the chat box. Before that, I will share a feedback link, and then this feedback, and then just give us a week, you will receive your certificates. So please, if you have questions, you can just raise your hand. The guest speaker will see your hand, and then you can unmute your mic and speak.
Can I ask, probably some of you had experience of some of practical application of what you taught during the classes, and you can also share with us. I can see one, my colleague, Olena Moisenko, Professor Moisenko here. It would be very interesting for us to know your approach and experience. Okay. Okay. So, Professor Faisal, nobody nobody would like to ask or share. So.
Thank you for everyone for joining us. So please, if you have questions, you can, I told you, you can raise your hand, and then you can speak with the speakers. So we'd like to say thank you very much for joining us. Just before you leave, we want to share this. So please try to fill in the feedback.
Unfortunately, I cannot hear you. The sound is very is corrupted. Okay.
I asked them to give feedback. I'm going to share the link here. And please try to follow the feedback, and just will receive your certificate in a week. I would like to say thank you for Professor Alexandra for joining us, sharing her experience. And so would you like to say anything, Professor Alexandra? Can you hear me?
We cannot hear you. The sound is very bad. If you could please write down it in a message.
I think a lot the form, the survey. He's asking everyone to fill out the form that he just sent the link.
Okay.
Supreme? خاص او دانی و ترادانی.
Can you hear me right now? Just if you write in the chat box if you hear me. Is my voice
almost nothing.
nothing?
Okay, can you try it now, please? It seems to be better.
Okay, I will use my mobile.
Okay. It is a bit better.
Hello, can you hear me right now?
Yes, now we can hear.
Okay. I'm using my mobile. Just I shared the link of feedback in the chat box, guys, so you can fill the feedback form, and then just give us a week. We'll send you a certificate. And would like to say thank you for everyone, people who comes from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Philippines, Oman, Algeria, Tunisia, everywhere. And big thank you for Professor Natalia for coming and joining her experience. And not to forget a lot of group of people from Ukraine joined us today.
Sorry. My colleague from department, Professor Moisenko Elena, is here, is with us. Okay, thank you for your comments. Like, it was an eye opener, and thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Goodbye.